Hi, Jerry Heron. Good morning. Coming from Phoenix, Arizona, a little nippy Phoenix, Arizona. And this is the direct message to the people in the LGB Patriots group. And nippy in Phoenix, literally anything under 100 degrees feels like it's freezing, and it's nowhere near that. And I have to keep reminding myself that, when we get to the 118 plus degrees, that this air-conditioned air outside is going to feel wonderful. A couple of reasons that I wanted to do a quick chat video with you as an update, and I'm going to probably upload this to YouTube unlisted because I have not figured out how to do a private or unlisted video in my BitChute channel. And the reasons are two. I wanted to talk to you about membership, and the second thing about posts. So, excuse me. First of all, thank you for all the people who have invited people to the group, Joe, you especially, and I really appreciate we are up to 101 members, which may not seem like a big deal, but quite frankly, I feel like I'm swimming up a hill against Rainbow Pride, and so any sort of progress we make, or I make, or collectively make, I think is a great thing. So I am thrilled, and thank you. In this wave, I wondered actually if we were going to end up being mostly a lesbian group with all the wave, and then I've just looked at the membership, and it seems to be reasonably balanced, which is great. And certainly I want to take this nationally, and we have people being invited from right across America, and I think we have one. I know we have one British member, and probably more, and it's great. But a couple of cautions about the membership. I really do want to keep this an LG and B group, but mostly lesbians and gay people. Take this right back to where we started from with our gay civil rights. And the reason, or the nearest example of how things could have gone really bad was the walkaway campaign. And just as a reminder, I am a red-pilled liberal. Yes, I'm a registered Republican, and yes, I am a Trump supporter, but I am still grounded in center-sane, what I call center-sane liberal politics. And I have, walked away from the Democratic campaign. So I was one of those in 2017 that became aware of Brandon Straker's group, and I still applaud Brandon for his original idea of walking away. And I was one of those that was one of the original text posters, coming out, walking away from the Democrats and why we were, and becoming a very racist party. The party of women was suddenly becoming the Sharia law party, the party of complete liars, parties that just have sold themselves out. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still center saying they went hard left. And so I was thrilled with the walkaway campaign. And then it was 4th of July, I think 2017, that the Brandon was pressing for these ex-Democrats and unaffiliated or unregistered, not unregistered, but unaffiliated voters, independent voters, depending on which state you're in, to do video coming out, walk away. That was very, very hard to do. And so I got up at dawn and I walked out with my iPhone 6 and held it there and did this video and, watched its reaction. And, if you get a few people like a video, it's incredible. Then it went to 100, and then it went to 5, and then it went to 1,000, and then it just kept going. And I was blown away. And then they reached out to me and they asked me to surrender my copyright because they wanted to use it in advertising. And then I started to see in the forums posts where people were welcoming me and congratulating me for walking away and finding Jesus. Well, I'm lost or gave up my religion probably when I was 13. I'm an atheist. No issues with people making their personal choice in the religion. As far as I'm concerned, religion is for your church, and your temple, your synagogue, for your home, for your heart. It has nothing to do with politics. All God's out of government. So that was irritating. And then what happened is the forums got really, really toxic. And what happened was that Brandon, I think quite frankly, let his ego get away from him. He was amazed, as we all were, in the sort of rush of membership to the Walkaway campaign. And so instead of just keeping it genuinely what it was titled to be, Walkaway Democrats, independent, unaffiliated voters, he was allowing anyone in. And then he changed it to Patriots. So in other words, if you never weren't walking away from the Democrats or anything, you had been a Republican voter all your life, you were allowed to come in. And of course, I guess, as gay people, we would call them the allies. And what happened was it destroyed the group. And the infighting became really, really bad. And then Brandon targeted a woman, Jenny, I won't say her last name. And Jenny and I have sort of become fast friends since then. Anytime someone bullies a woman, it's going to get my attention. And what he did was that he doxed her. He posted, for everyone to go after this woman, that she was sort of, an antagonist in the group. And he went to her personal Facebook. He downloaded photographs of her. He linked her to the group. He did exactly what the left does, with their cancel culture. So I messaged this woman as like, what's going on? What happened? And what had happened was that, Brandon was away being, the gay celebrity, political celebrity, on the red carpet and, his top hat and being very, very grand, and left, the volunteers and the admin to do all the work of running Walkaway campaign. And one of the admins had put out that we're trying to open 50 state groups. And Jenny happened to be very good with Facebook, so she did. She created these 50 groups, and Brandon came back and suddenly, I think, was intimidated that there was this person who was sort of running the group, or people that were running the group, and he wasn't in control, or he didn't think he was in control. So he reached out to her via Messenger, and she firstly was impressed that Brandon would be reaching out to her personally, and then she was a little suspicious. It wasn't Brandon because the language that he was using didn't seem like the Brandon PR, the Brandon that you saw in the videos. So she started to question him. And of course, if you know gay men, if you do anything that dismisses gay men, nothing drives them crazier. And he went ballistic on her, which again confirmed to her this really wasn't Brandon. And what he was doing was demanding that she surrender all the control to these groups. And so she agreed, except she retained, I think, some sort of admin on that. And that just made him go ballistic. And at that point, and she did share the text with me. She screen capped them. I have them. And I did actually have a Twitter fight with Brandon much later, when I had been kicked off the group, as a lot of us have been. And he private messaged me and wanted to know who the hell I was and why was I going after him. And, I showed him the text, and he was like, well, you misunderstand, it was for patriots as well. And it's like, yeah, but, Brandon, you had an amazing original idea and you destroyed it. You destroyed it. Not anybody else, you destroyed it. And it was your ego that did it. So I am really concerned to keep our group LGB. And, I like the support of the allies, but they can do it from outside. So when you do invite people, please ask them that they will be asked 3 questions, and qualifying questions. And one of them is, are you lesbian, gay, or bisexual? Okay. And I think there are people that have snuck in that, on a long invite list. And I've looked in some of the profiles. I've looked, and, don't be offended, are lovely lesbians, but some of you are definitely sisters. So that was easy to confirm. Others, I've looked at profiles and go, I'm not sure. No offense, this is just not the place for allies, and I have declined them. But I am thrilled with the interest, and hopefully to grow the group. The other thing is with posts, and I'm a free speech absolutist, and I hate censorship in any shape or form. Quite frankly, if you believe in freedom, you believe in people being able to make free adult choices, and I want to hear people's opinions. But when and it goes back to the Walkaway campaign, when you are posting things that are appealing to Republicans or Trump supporters and that are not going to appeal to center sane or even from the left, you're going to alienate them. And if the posts are not specifically about lesbian, gay, and bisexual civil rights issues, I don't want them in the group. I may 100% agree with you with the post, and I may find the post interesting, but it really hurts me to decline. And what I'm doing is now that I'm declining with feedback. And I don't want to discourage you, but again, I need to remind people if they're not specifically. So please ask yourself, is this going to be educational? And what are the reasons that I really want the group to be is a learning experience and an educating experience, and the articles need to be included. Now, I'm quite frankly can be quite sharp-tongued on media sites like Twitter, and I swim in my mother's gene pool, and that wonderful woman who's going to be 89 this year is known to be able to sink battleships with a few lashes of her tongue, with that lovely sort of twittery English accent, and people don't even know that she's actually sunk them. But it's most of doing that, I think, on Twitter is just ego. So if someone comes at me on Twitter, and very few for some reason, I think because I'm shadow banned, because all my other Twitter buddies, particularly the English ones, all complain about, constantly being attacked by lunatics on the left. I don't see that. But a few times where I have, and, I look at the profile, and they've just come at me with sort of toxicity. It's not about dialectic, it's not about debate. And then I look at the profile, and it's 0 followers, 0 following, and it's like, okay, Mr. 00, just go away. I can't be bothered. But I want to always use it as an opportunity to persuade. So if we're posting articles that are, and this is not a partisan group, okay? It's not a Republican group, it's not a Democratic group, it's not a Libertarian group. It is welcoming to all LGB Patriots. So if there are articles that are LGB that seem to be more towards center right, fine. But if there are articles, for instance, I posted one today about an amazing activist lesbian from the 1900s, into the mid 20th century, and socialism and unions and all the rest of it. And, and it actually isn't a good reminder of why people were so petrified about communism. And it does reflect today. And I think she's still an amazing woman. I may not agree with her on, her abortion and a socialist, and unionist fighting, but it's a wonderful piece of history, and she's a wonderful, wonderful gay woman. And I'm going to post that. And it's not an endorsement of everything there, but I think it's a piece of history that and a wonderful personality who surrendered a lot for women's rights and workers' rights and what have you. So it's out there. And I'm sure there's going to be conservatives that really, it'll sort of, stick in their craw, what have you. But just chill and learn and read from it. Our goal is, is to educate. If I manage to get to the point where I can get candidates to stop saying LGBTQ plus bullshit and just say LGBT, it would be a huge victory. And, and on that front, that last video that I put out, which included maps, and of course that's going to be really controversial. And I'm outreaching and working with the Republicans in Arizona, and I'm in LD 28, and I'm in the Maricopa County, and quite frankly, this is the heart of Arizona politics, and I am not getting very far at all. On the other hand, District 1, which is very red, I'm getting lots of inroads. And in fact, this is the 4th or the 6th I'm meeting with Selena Bliss, who's running for state senate. And I met Selena 2 years ago at 4th of July in the square, and she was thinking about running. And then exactly 1 year later, she was in the square, and she was running, and I did some quick, free videos for her, and she has been included in my email to the GOP chairwoman and a vice chair of Yavapai County GOP, and we did have a phone call before Christmas, and she said this has been so educational. I was thinking maybe including her was a little intrusive. She was like, this is, I don't know this stuff, and I want to learn this stuff. So, they have been good. Now, of all the candidates, I watched every candidate that's running on the right. The left are not going to agree with me. They are so entrenched with Rainbow Pride. And Kerry Lake, running for Arizona governor, campaign did call me, and which, I was impressed that they did. My first question is, did you watch the video? They were like, well, what is this? And I think what happened, someone in the campaign manager said, would you call this person, find out what the frick they're up to? And I said, well, did you watch the video? He didn't watch. Okay, so, well, the video would have explained what I'm trying to do. And we had a conversation, no follow-up since then. Yesterday, Janet Jackson called me, and she is running for, I think, LD28, Arizona Senate. And I briefly worked on Janet's campaign, and I have a very good rapport with Janet. And Janet was like, well, what is this? Because I think the title frightened her. And I said, look, this is not a attack. This is a guide. And did you watch the video? No, I have. But she said, I am going to sit and watch the video. But she asked me to explain. Well, buddy, so I did. And I started to explain. And her question to me was, why are the Maricopa County GOP not responding to this? And then she paused, and then she answered, and she said, oh, yeah, it's kind of like me being a black woman and wanting to talk to groups and, talk about critical race theory, and they're embarrassed, and they in some ways maybe feel guilty, and they don't want to. They don't want to have that conversation. And she said, you're a gay man, who has the provenance. You fought for gay civil rights, and you watching, this backlash and this erosion, complete erosion of our gay civil rights. And it's a difficult subject for them. And, even when I was talking to Selena Bliss, and she was sort of apologizing for I was like, Selena, there's nothing to apologize for. You're a heterosexual woman with a family. It's not your business. But when it gets down to they're targeting your kids, with this gender identity bullshit. Then it does become your business. And, if I'm going to be the fall guy, if, I'm going to be the person that you say, here it is, I only endorse LGB Patriots and Republicans, people who love their country, and I do not support Rainbow Pride, and, because they are going to ask those questions, I'd be happy to be the fall guy. So anyway, I'll wrap this up. So thank you for the membership drives. Thank you for being part of this group. Hopefully we will grow. Please do not be put off for me censoring or not approving, declining posts that are not LGB specific. There's a lot of exciting things that are happening, and I'm very encouraged about this. And I understand it does make me a target. It does make me a target as an independent realtor. And I will tell you that the toxicity has got so bad that, I have to do a bunch of credit hours classes in a 2-year span to retain my license. And the last class that I did, and I think it was on ethics, and the National Association of Realtors, and I have to be a member as the realtor to be with my brokerage. And we now have to consider gender identity as a protected class. And it's bullshit. And there wasn't anybody in that class, including the person presenting it, who didn't think it was. But that's how far these lunatics have eroded it. And it is going to be a very hard fight back. It's going to be a very hard win. And as you saw that I watched or tried to watch the Peter Tatchell, the most hated man in England. And here is a film, historic film. And, I was there in the late 70s and marched, and, it was Gay Liberation Front. And here is this historical footage. And right in the front of it, you have Peter Tatchell with this history revision, and it's LGBT plus rights. And it's like, no, it wasn't. It's right there in the background. Read the signs, read or listen to the news articles. You're revising it. And I actually posted on Twitter today, a little bit of a trap, and we'll see if Tatchell Tatchell falls for it. And I've said to him, here is the Netflix documentary, and I watched it, and I want you to explain to me what is LGBT plus that you keep referring to. And I went, L is, G is, and see if he falls for it. Because I would really like to see him endorse gender dysphoria, which is exactly what he's been doing. But I'm really curious about the plus. And if he has the balls to come out and say that it's MAPS and that he endorses MAPS, because that is just literally going to be a landmine that he's not going to be able to walk away from. Anyway, so I'm going to end this and wishing you all a wonderful 2022. Thank you for being in the group, and keep watching. Thank you.